Here we go.
Nole Nation, welcome into another episode of the Renegade Rundown. I've got my favorite co-host, the best co-host in all the land, Jen Santee, right here with me, aka Jen Nole 2013 at Jen Santee 1890 on X. How are we feeling, Jen? Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm making it. I'm alive. I'm off the couch. I'm sitting
We were
at a
worried about you.
desk.
We were worried about you there for a little while, but it seemed like all of a sudden you got your energy back, so we're glad to see it. Glad you could make it back to us.
Yeah, we'll
Feels
see.
like a
We'll
year,
see.
but it's only
It does.
one episode you've missed out of, I think we've done 50 or something
I know,
the
but
past 3 months.
I know, but I still feel like I missed, like I haven't been around for like a week. It feels like it's weird.
Every time I get sick, I feel like I will never get better, especially in that like fever, body ache, kind
Oh
of flu.
yeah.
It's like, this is just how the rest of my life is. Like, I didn't enjoy it while it lasted. Here we are.
I tried to act like, oh no, I'm not getting it. It's fine, it's cool, no big deal. And then my eyelids started to burn. Like when I would do,
Oh my
like I kind of
goodness.
blink, and I was like, maybe I should just check my temperature. I know my COVID test came back positive, but let me just check my temperature. And when that thing said 102.7, I was like, oh Lord, I should probably
That's when it's
maybe.
serious. What, you get to 103, 104, you start getting like brain damage and like
Yeah.
serious stuff. So 102, that is nothing to play with, not even a little bit.
No, Oh my God, somebody had a 104.1 fever. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fighting for your life with 104.1. So Tempest with the backward 7, we're glad you're with us, man. We're glad I didn't take you out, because that is terrible, man. That's rough. I couldn't imagine that. That's like hay fever.
To me, it is like it feels like a flu to me. I do get that part of it, because really it's the body aches for me this time. That's really, like, my throat wasn't too bad, and it was a headache, body aches, and I was so tired, like I could not keep my eyes open. And you know me, I don't even call in sick to like work or anything. And I had to tell my team, I think it was maybe Friday afternoon, guys, I gotta log off. My eyes are rolling back in my head. I can't stay awake.
And in case you didn't know it, Jen works a full-time job, and she has a ton of responsibility on her plate. She's not some barista at Starbucks or nothing like that. We won't even get into details, but that's kind of I left that part out when I was bragging on how hard a worker Jen is, talking about all these different podcasts she does. But that's on top of being a single mom and being a pretty powerful businesswoman in her own right. But anyways, we'll get into the football, promise, guys. We'll get into the Florida State football stuff. I want to talk about the offensive line. It's a kind of hot topic on the timeline about whether people, whether we're recruiting good enough, or what this line's going to be. Is it going to take a step back? All that stuff. But before we get into those nitty gritty details, we can just kind of talk about what we've seen happen the last couple of days, especially with this Nike coaching clinic. Man, Mike Norvell, he came out and said pretty much this is the very best month of preparation they've had since he's been here as a program. That means tour duty, the way the whole thing works behind the scenes, their recruiting efforts, all that stuff. He's really, really excited. How does that make you feel, Jen?
Well, one, I saw it last night and I was like, whoa. I mean, luckily, I guess my fever was gone, because it wasn't a fever dream when he said that, because I saw that and I was like, wow. And coming from him, that's huge. That's really something. He doesn't just throw that language around. It's not like, I'm not trying to bring up a former coach, but like every year at spring, it was like, this is the best team I've ever coached, blah, 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 as he's putting his peanuts in his Coca-Cola. We know who we're talking about here. Like you don't usually hear that from Coach Norvell. You just don't. He doesn't. I mean, unless I'm totally making it up, I don't remember him saying stuff like this. Ever. It's always been, okay, well, we've got this to work on, we've got that to work on, things are going well, but it's never been, this is the best we've had. Like, it's just not been that way.
And I'm trying to work on this as a host. I get a note a lot of times that I interrupt people. I almost interrupted you and said the same exact thing. That's exactly where I went. Like, this isn't something Mike Norvell says. And going back to Jimbo Fisher, since you hinted at him, like, with him, he would use the media as a message. He would say, oh, well, this person's looking really good just because they did good in one practice. yada yada. Norvell doesn't do that. He's just so matter of fact, tells it how it is. You got to work to get better, yada yada. So to hear him say that, yeah, I'm with you. I believe it 100%. Him and also big James Coleman. He tells me after the first spring practice every year what he thinks of the squad. So I can't wait to hear what he says after hearing Mike Norvell say that, because it all bodes well. They just finished up with tour duty. The media was really, really tight around that thing. We didn't get much of anything in the way of clips like we generally do out of the tour duty. We got a couple little clips here and there. There weren't a bunch of press conferences or releases or inside stories or anything like that we've had in the past. But from everything we've heard of tour duty, the best month ever. That's telling you everything you need to know. And they're going into, as he mentioned in his presser, Friday finished the first phase of tour duty, which I guess is only I think it's one time a week that they do the actual stuff. Don't misquote me, but I do know that they've moved into the second phase, which is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and I believe Fridays. It's more ratcheted up. Half of a week they're out there going, and can't wait to see how that turns out. And we have till March 6th, I believe, before spring practice. So we've got just a little bit under a month. Perfect time to get into these position previews and stuff like that. What else do we got? Was there anything else that
now? Like, we're talking practice. Like,
it's crazy. We're talking practice.
We're talking practice. It's gonna be the spring game before we know it.
I know. February 20th, April 20th, 420 this year. Make sure you guys get there. We're going to be at the Den Media Spear Addict / Dope Talk tailgate that CJ, James, and Chris do every year. So you can get those tickets. We'll provide a link. I think we have a link on the previous show. Get with James. He'll get you the tickets, or Chris. But that's going to be a ton of fun. I just cannot wait. Obviously, everybody wants to talk about Doak Campbell and the renovations, and I get it. I guess we can go ahead and talk about this for a minute because they brought it up in the comments. I have one thing that I want to say real quick. Take it or leave it. We can go back and forth when we open the phone lines. I'm sure somebody will probably bring it up. The main problem I see people having with the renovations is that, oh, well, y'all are pricing the little man out and you're reducing capacity. Why are you reducing capacity? You're pricing the little man. It's greedy. Y'all, they're just doing that because they have to get more money, because they have to pay for NIL and all that stuff. Probably most of the people that watch our show aren't thinking like that. I'm not sure. I know some of them probably do have those preclusions, but just if I could make you guys understand that is not it. I know it's easy to look at that from the outside point of view, and maybe a previous administration that might have been what their motivations have been. But I can't stress to you guys enough with what Michael Alvord and Mike Norvell have visioned, for this program. The board of trustees, they're all in line. Like, this is like the thing the program needs for improvement. It is dropping. Okay. A lot of people have seen this 55,000 seats number out there, but guys, that is just for this year. That's just for this one season. I know it stinks, but the construction has to get done, and they couldn't figure out how they could do it all in the off season. So it is what it is on that. But when it's done, it's going to be about 70,000. So you are losing like 9,000, I think close to 10,000, maybe a little over seats, but it's not the end of the world. There aren't that many games at Doak where it's like 80 people hanging off the rafters. And even when it is, a lot of times those seats, it's because somebody has 50 and they gave them out and it's great. Or a lot of times people will be able to take people to the games. It's not like the ticket price has never been the issue in Tallahassee when it comes to accommodating people. So I know it stinks. It really stinks for season ticket holders, and it reduces the seats in the shade over there. So it's going to be tough for 1 year, but I'm on board with it. Just want to let you guys know how I look at it. And I really don't think it's a money grab or greed or anything like that. I think it's just moving forward towards the NFL model, just like with the GM we have, how we use the portal, NIL, everything else. It's the same deal. NFL stadiums are 60,000 seats, and that's in places like Jacksonville and Nashville. We're in Tallahassee. It's 2024. That game looks damn good on a big screen. I've been to games and watched it at the tailgate on a big screen. So the idea is to improve the in-game experience. And if you haven't been able to eat or drink, enjoy the game, everything in the Champions Club, I'm telling you, experience it one time, and I think you may change your mind on it. But anyways, did you have any comments on that?
No, I'm just not really. Obviously, because I live in Memphis, it's hard. I can only go to a couple games. So it's not something. It's just, if I'm sure if I lived in Tallahassee and had seasons long tickets, and this was just a family tradition, this would be something, that I would have a larger opinion on than what I have. But I absolutely understand everybody's perspective on it. I can't imagine losing seats that you've had in your family for a long time. And I also um, know that there are some people who are just really excited about the upgrades. So, I can see both sides of it. But like I said, just living so far and not, having the capacity to go to every game. So, it's not something that really affects me too much personally, but I do see both sides.
Facts. And guys, this needed to be done for future renovations.
Yeah,
They're
it
talking
does.
about putting a top on this thing. There's like two options. I think they could go to expand seating in the future if it calls for it, or they could put a top over it. They're talking about all kind of different cool stuff. So as bad as it stinks, kind of like the new logo, I think everybody was
Yeah.
kind of mad for a little bit about the new logo. I think it's one of those things. Once it's done, we'll move on. But yeah, if you had a season ticket for 1,000,000 years and now it's gone, that
Yeah.
stinks. But chances are you're going to get a better seat in return, or I can only hope that's what they're doing for you guys. So we'll see. Another cool thing that really stood out from his press availabilities at the coaches clinic and stuff was when he talked about DJU when he was at Clemson. If you guys remember, in 2022, we brought in 4 wide receivers: Deuce Spann, Johnny Wilson, Winston Wright Jr., and Micah Pittman. Winston Wright Jr. got in a terrible car accident, like completely destroyed his leg, the whole thing. Like he missed all of 2022. Didn't quite make it back, I don't think, in time for 2023, and then he transferred out this offseason. I think I said that right.
Yep.
But he transferred out, didn't work out. But while he was here in 2022 recovering, when we played Clemson, that's what DJU had to ask. That's what he wanted to know from Mike Norvell. He had heard the story, and he came up to him and asked him about it. And it's pretty cool. Just goes to show you what a great kid he is. And like outside of diehard FSU fans, who even, it's pretty cool that he would even know that we had a wide receiver and the whole thing, and have the cognizance after a game to go ask him about it. I thought that was really cool.
Agreed. But you know how I feel about him, so.
Oh, I know you love some DJ. I loved it. They talked about how they watched, 3 kind of game films with each other, and that was kind of the process on the official visit. It was all
Mhm.
business. That was really, really cool. They're super fired up, man. I just can't wait for spring to get here. I want to talk
Me
about some
too.
offensive line.
I know you do. I know you do.
It's like, I'm not sure what everybody's opinion on it. I feel like people are being extremely timid with their prognostications. I think they look at it and they want to see, well, damn, you brought in 3 5-star offensive linemen this year, and now things are going to change because you've got this dude who can come in and start as a freshman. But when I sit here and I look at this list of offensive linemen, it's unreal kind of where we've come in the past 2 or 3 years. Now, Robert Scott went down, and that was terrible. That was something that hurt us this year. It was tough, but he's coming back, a 4-year starter, and Robert Scott's coming back. The guy that kind of replaced him and had to take over his snaps and ended up being first team all ACC, the kid from my hometown, Pensacola, Florida, Darius Washington, he's coming back. So there's 2 tackles right there. Like, that's a better pair of tackles than you would have started the season with any other season, period, right there. And that's not even counting anybody else that backs him up. You've got Jeremiah Byers coming back for another year. I've got swing written down to next to his name. That doesn't come from talking to anybody on the staff. I'm not sure whether they're going to have him as a backup tackle or trying to lock down one of the starting guard spots. Another guy, Keandre Jones, a guy that came in, kind of adapted to the system towards the end of the year. He was extremely important on that offensive line. When it comes to run blocking, great. I mean, when he got a hold of guys, he mauled them. The center, Maury Smith, comes back for yet another year. Here's a guy who started 2-3 years. He's never been quite healthy. There's always been issues. It seems like he just couldn't stay healthy. Well, as I've listed the first 4 or 5 names here, you've basically got a starting unit you could run with. Okay. And that's just the first 5 names on my list. And I didn't, these aren't the best 5 linemen, anything. We're going to go down this whole thing. But these 5 guys last year I would have been, ecstatic with. they aren't big 5-star crazy athletes, but what they are is guys with a ton of experience who we had to go with at times when they had no experience. Like Robert Scott, he's to the level now where you don't have to worry about him. If you can get that guy healthy, you have a plus tackle out there. You've got a big name out there. And then the next names on the list, you've got Bryson Estes, Jalen Early, Julian Armella, Lucas Simmons. Now, 2 of those 4 names are blue chips in Lucas Simmons and Julian Armella. Is Simmons going to be ready this year? I'm not sure. But here you have a true sophomore in Lucas Simmons who hasn't been forced into any problems. We all know he's like an all-world, all-measurable guy. Robert Scott, when he came in, he was forced to start.
Right.
Like as a true freshman. Okay. And he was not the athlete that a Lucas Simmons, or a Julian Armella even was coming out of school. Not belittle him or anything. Like he's a great guy, but just these guys are the blue chips that everybody looks for. Okay. So 2nd-year guy there, Julian Armella, 3rd-year blue chip, working into that tackle rotation. Jalen Early, Bryson Estes, I think they're going to both be in the guard rotation. I would love to see Estes step up and earn one of those guard spots, but it's going to be real tough when you start going down this lineup because you got Andre Otto, a 2nd-year guy, a 3-star. Manasa Tite, a 4-star freshman that just came in. John Daniels, another 4-star freshman. Ty Hilton, another 3-star freshman. Jaden Todd, another 3-star freshman. Now, here's the 2 that really kind of, like, I would have been fine with all those names I named out there. But here's our 2 transfer guys we got in. Offensive guard Richie Leonard from Florida. This dude was the best offensive lineman on Florida last year. He's a dude that Atkins, like, I can't speak for the guy, but he was pissed when he didn't get him. This is a guy he really, really wanted. Ends up being the best player on your rival. Okay, you bring him over. You take the best offensive line from your rival, and you add him onto his guard. Now you also have Terrence Ferguson from Alabama, a 4-star transfer who wasn't a starter or anything like that, but another damn good piece. I look up and down this list, and it's like 2 years ago, every single person on this list is almost better. If you pulled up the 2022 offensive roster, person for person for person for person for person, you bring every starter back and add so much more. I feel like even though DJU's new, he's coming in, he's going to be learning a system, this and that. You're going to see this offensive line be able to actually manhandle people. Even last year, it's always seemed like it's just a battle of attrition with our offensive line. Robert Scott goes down. Maury Smith is injured, but he has to play. It just seems this year they have, like, we go 10 deep again, like we did last year. But this year, if Maury Smith goes down, they're going to be able to sit his ass for 2 or 3 weeks, excuse my language, and put somebody else in there and be fine. And another part of that is how the schedule lines up. You've got 3 bye weeks to work these guys in. It's almost like you have 3 little, quarters of the season, 4 quarters, but 3 bye weeks splitting up 4 sections of the season. It's just a brilliant opportunity for this offensive line to go out and mash. And I feel like it's going to be by far the best unit we have, and people are really, really underselling it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think it's been to be fair to people who are underselling it, think about how long it's been since we've had an offensive line that we were actually comfortable with. It's almost kind of like, let's wait to see it to believe it almost. Again, this is no criticism for what we have right now or what has been done. It's just the depth hasn't been there. And we all know that. It's one person gets hurt and you're stuck throwing in a freshman or, just something like that. And we just haven't had the depth. And right now, it seems like we do. We're finally getting back to that old, if somebody, God forbid, does go down, you can, plug someone else in who's just as good. It's not going to be as much of a drop off. And I do like that, especially for DJU coming in.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the 2022 Florida State offensive line just for comparison's sake, so we can go through some of these things. I really want to, because I think people forget. I think, just kind of where we've come and the strides we've taken. And it's almost like they see all the starters come back. They think, oh, well, it's going to be the same offensive line it was last year. But it's just not. It's going to be leaps and bounds better. Maybe I'm wrong. I've got a pretty strong opinion of this team. We will see. But I just want to go by this and look at this 2022 Florida State offensive lineman roster and what it looked like. Okay, that's up there on the screen. I hope you guys can see that. It's kind of small. Maybe I could zoom in a little bit for y'all. Yeah, there you go. That's a little better. So when we look at the offensive line roster, 2002, 2 seasons ago, take this comment off here. Julian Armella, true freshman. Now, this guy is still here. Okay. This is one of your depth pieces. Okay. Kanile Charlton. He transferred out, but he just wasn't getting anywhere near the lineup, unfortunately. Jalen Early, another one of your reserves we just talked about on this offensive line. Dimitri Emmanuel started that year, I believe, towards the end of the year. He graduated. He's gone. He was a damn good offensive line. I'm not going to say he's a loss, but who would you take? Would you take Dimitri Emmanuel or Richie Leonard?
Richie Leonard.
Richie Leonard. Okay, I agree. Bryson Estes, again, he's there. Now, this is, in effect, 3 years later, because 2 seasons have been played from this offensive line. This is the line played than we saw last year. Okay, going on down the list. Dylan Gibbons. Now, Dylan Gibbons is a beast, somebody that I hope we can get on the show one day. He started Big Man, Big Heart. He is an absolutely lovable character around Tallahassee. And he was like a huge part of turning this whole thing around, getting guys committed, putting this offensive line, room where it is. But as I look down the list here, is Terrence Ferguson a pretty good trade-off for Dylan Gibbons? Would you have been? They're pretty comparable recruits. You can have an argument there. Dylan Gibbons, what he gave to the team and everything else. But we're all right there. Bless Harris. Now, this is a guy that came in 2022 from Lamar. He was here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and was taking first reps at right tackle. He was getting ready to start the season as the starter at right tackle. Now, Bless Harris transferred out in this offseason. We didn't hear it from the young man himself, but the writing's on the wall. He transferred out because he was not going to start in 2024 and likely wouldn't have been, a 300-400 snap guy, even like he was used to being. Zane Herring, another guy who transferred out. I think he did pretty well somewhere. I'm drawing a blank on where he went, but not a Florida State level player. Colin King, same thing. Caden Lyles got injured in camp, never did anything. Garrett Murray, I don't even know who that is. Rod Orr, another guy, was here for 2 or 3 years, like Charlton. Unfortunately, didn't work out. He was actually a blue chip recruit. We've still got some blue chips that haven't proven themselves, but not dropping that. Ben Austin Suzuki, I believe that was a walk-on. Daughtry Richardson, another guy who just transferred out on account of what we all believe would be playing time in his position. He got recruited over. James Rosenberry, this ended up being your long snapper. They have him in there for some reason. He is your long snapper on here. Quayshawn Sapp, another guy who battled for the center position last year, but what happened? He got beat out by Maurice Smith, and after that, he didn't quite find the field. I think he may have had some injuries that hampered him. He's transferred out, great kid, but the reason he transferred out, it wasn't for some bunch of money or because Florida State wasn't going to compete or got left out. Thomas Schrader, I believe he just transferred out this period as well. Another guy, just he wasn't up to snuff. And these were all guys that had to play. These are guys that were playing minutes, guys that we went out and beat LSU with, okay? David Stickle, Leonard Toney, Justin Turnatine. He got us through some hard times. He played some tackle for us, and, I will always appreciate what that dude did for us. He's 6'7", 336 pounds. But right underneath him, you see Darius Washington. And Darius Washington is – a better tackle than Turnatine ever dreamed of being while he was at Florida State. Not trying to take shots at anybody. But under that, we have Lloyd Willis, who's long gone, and Tavius Woody is there for some reason. He may have taken some snaps back in 2020 at offensive line. I can't remember. But guys, that list versus what I just read off of you and what we have, it would just be a demolition if you brought these 2 groups of people. So I think people need to just take a deep breath and really expect a top 10, top 15 at worst offensive line unit. I'm calling my shot this year with Florida State. But anyways, I could talk names and numbers and years and everything forever. I just really wanted to show people the difference, where we're coming. This thing is heading in the right direction. And
Absolutely.
they built a program. They did not build a team. As much as Twitter wants to tell you that Mike Norvell built a team and now it's all gone, all these mercenaries are gone, it's a bunch of shit. Okay. Well, now we got Josh Pate on our side. He sees it. He just trusts Norvell. He doesn't understand why the recruiting rankings match up. He doesn't understand why his model won't pick Florida State, why it always has them fucking 10, 20 spots before them where they're supposed to be. Excuse my language again. Jeez Louise. But all of a sudden, he trusts Mike Norvell. So that's good. People are starting to come around. But,
I don't know how that should make Coach Norvell feel because he also trusts Mario's coaching. So I don't really understand how that's going to work out. So
yeah,
if I were Coach Norvell, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Him in Vegas.
Don't trust me.
Did you see the win totals that came out? 9.5 games for Miami.
What? Y'all made fun of me. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? It's nobody. We as fans make fun of Miami failing every year, but like the media, they ride that crap to death. That is a dead horse. It's a horse that is just like drooling and it's got froth coming out of its mouth, and they're still gonna hit there and slap that horse's ass to get it over the finish line. And it's just never gonna happen. It's not. I mean, okay, fine. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. They have a soft schedule every year. Miami has a soft schedule every year, and they still win 7 games. I'm over it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. 9.5 games. But Florida, on the other hand, 5.5 back-to-back years before, guys.
Ooh.
I'm probably going to hit that under yet again. I wish I would have made that bet, man. They all say it's delusional. Nick Snyder says, our blue chip ratio has taken huge leaps this year. As a matter of fact, it has huge leaps. That's why it's hilarious. There's a portion of the fan base even that thinks, it's just, there's a ceiling. You can only win 9, 10 games, somebody commented today, with the recruiting we do. I'm like, right. Yeah, so 10 and 13 games with 40% blue chip ratio, with 60 going on 70, we can only win 9. Okay, gotcha. That makes perfect sense.
We don't have Mario coaching for us. I hate to break this news to people. So you can pick your games if you want to. You can do this 9-game, 8-game because of the recruiting stuff, but Mario is not our head coach.
Thank God. Thank the Lord.
Can you imagine? Mario is not our head coach.
Yeah, if my coach wore binders, that would be pretty tough. I mean, that would be embarrassing.
My Lord.
Did you hear?
That man's got like a gift certificate to Skims.
Jeez Louise. He kept Under Armour in business those early years when they came out with them super tight shirts.
That man is in some body shape and stuff. I don't care what anybody says. That is not Under Armour. I know all about that. Look, he is wearing some Skims or something, or some. Well, maybe not Spanx. He's probably not in the Spanx, but he could be in Skims.
Did you see our best friend Nick Saban? Believe it or not, I know this is crazy that he would have any kind of relationship there, but he's like going to be on College Game Day now.
What?
I swear, Nick Saban.
Wait, they gave him a job?
Yeah.
ESPN gave Nick Saban. Wait a minute. What?
I swear.
Who knew that was gonna happen? Wait.
Desk is getting a little crowded, ain't it, Jen?
I would think so. I don't know. I gotta wonder. How's this gonna go? You got way too many egos on. I mean, they're pushing poor Oli Corso out, and it's probably about time for that. Let's all be honest here. We all love it.
We can be fair there. I
treasure. But I think he's even discussing with Kirk now too. I think he's over it. He's not Kirk's support dog, even as much as Kirk wants to treat him like he is. I think something's going on here. To me, this Raiola stuff getting out, to have somebody like Paul Feinbaum accuse you of now being too biased, that's wild. Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's tough road to hoe there.
Paul Feinbaum with a straight face can say you're too biased is insanity, and be on point is insane to me. It's insane. That is Oh, look. Kirk's making Paul Feinbaum look like Walter Cronkite, guys. He's making him look like Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, I can just
And
see Saban, like his opinions on some of these different things they bring up. It's like everything he was about and what Kirk Herbstreit and that whole crew did to get him in the playoff. It's like everything against what he
mhm.
stands for. So I can't wait till they get up there and, whatever, Florida State 7-0, and they say, oh, well, whatever their bullshit is. I can't wait to see if Nick Saban goes along with it or if he's like, no, 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 y'all are crazy. So it's really
No,
interesting. But the desk is getting crowded. Is Pat McAfee not coming back? Was that a 1 year thing? Does somebody know in the chat? Because
you know,
like you said, a lot of personalities. They get rid of Pollock. They bring in McAfee. Now they're bringing in Saban. Like, geez.
can you imagine the egos? I couldn't imagine being an assistant on that show. That would just be a nightmare.
Oh my goodness. Especially now that
Just
Lee's gone. I'm sure they probably
just to be like
behaved.
a page or something, like just an assistant or golly. I mean, that's got to be awful. And those guys are just jerks, I'm sure. And I mean, look at it. Look, Kirk he is really lashing out at fans who have like 4 followers. He's he's it's really honestly the Dylan Raiola stuff to me. And the fact that other ESPN analysts are turning on him. This just screams to me that they're like, hang on, we've got to get away from this somehow. And it looks like he could be like the one that they're going to put to fall on the sword. I don't know. It just is weird to me. Usually ESPN keeps that type of stuff. I don't see Kurt going to big noon. I don't at all. I mean, I guess he could,
He did go to Ohio State, but that's
but
it's
he
a
bashed
totally
him too.
different.
Remember
ESPN
he
and Fox is
claims.
different. Like the politics, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
Does anybody remember how much Ohio State fans really hate Kirk right now? Because do you not remember when he said he had to move to Nashville because Ohio State fans were harassing him so much
I
because he
missed
was
that
saying
one.
that
What the
Jim
heck?
Tressel should be fired? Does
Is,
anybody else remember
is that how he
that?
originally got the stress dog?
I probably. I mean, he's been kind of like I don't. I mean, I'm not making that up. I mean, I know that's what he said. He was saying he was being harassed by the Ohio State fans. He had to move to Nashville because SEC fans were more normal.
Yeah, said no one ever.
Yeah. Yeah, Brad,
Said
I know I'm
no
right. Yeah.
one ever.
Mhm.
But yeah, the guy was
But he
saying
moves to
he meant
Nashville that has like Vandy fans, which is, I mean, what are you going to run into one maybe in your lifetime? I've never even met one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they're University of Tennessee fans, I guess, because how far is
Which you want
Knoxville?
to
It's
talk
pretty
to
close.
Lulu. Talk to
Yeah.
Lulu.
Yeah.
That's
I
on
know.
another level.
I've known some people from that area, and pretty
Ooh,
wild,
Lord.
pretty wild folks up there. There is no doubt about it. It's a different breed. We've got a different breed around here in the Panhandle. Like I said, I can't talk
Well, I
shit,
mean,
but they're their own thing up
yeah,
there.
but
And look at me sweating. Jesus
like
Christ.
Tennessee is redneck Miami fans. That's what they are. That's the delusion that goes on there. It is wild stuff. They're winning every off-season championship. They win. Oh my God, it is. Ooh.
How about our quarterback taking home MVP honors at the Orlando Under Armour All-American Camp? That
Of
was pretty
course.
dope. Pretty dope seeing those guys out there dominate. Him and Solomon Thomas. Solomon Thomas was just mashing folks. It's pretty funny. I saw 3 different outlets post 3 different things about Solomon Thomas. One listed him as an offensive tackle comment. One just said O-line, and one said interior O-line. I'm pretty sure guard is his future, and he's somebody that can come in. You want to talk about those freshmen that people want that can come in and start immediately? He's that dude, and they're not done. There's we all know that there's a couple of our friends that have a bet for like $2,500 whether Florida State gets the top 5 O-line class or not.
Ooh.
Yeah, our buddy, he's pretty confident on that. So
All right.
I am too. Same thing about that class. I really think it's going to be a top 5 high school class overall. The only stipulation that could beat that was if they simply just don't sign enough guys. If they only sign 20,
Yeah.
even if 17 of them are blue chips, it may not put you inside that top 25. But as far as average, I guarantee you they'll be up there top 5 in the nation with average. But I'm not going to get into the whole how people view recruiting and how I view it thing today. I'm not going to murder y'all's earbuds with that. But I will put the phone line on the bottom of the screen. And if you guys have any questions or want to talk about anything here on Super Bowl Sunday as we hang out with you, feel free to call the hotline and talk to me or Jen or get a take off your chest or
Are you doing
anything of
anything
the
for the
above.
Super Bowl today, George?
I am going to relax and I'm going to watch the first NFL game I have watched all year from start to finish.
Oh my Lord. What do you do for fun on Sundays?
I've been working.
Mm.
I've been well, we do the show, and then so we're usually doing the show during the 3 o'clock games, and then afterwards I'm you know what I'm doing, getting all the links out and getting the audio version ready. I'm obsessed with this shit, and I don't know what it is. Was it kind of a down year in the NFL for honest? Like it really wasn't. I didn't watch, but it just seemed like there wasn't.
Well,
Even when
I
they talk
think
about the MVP, it's like people are mad Lamar won the MVP because. I mean, there just
because
wasn't
he
any
can't win a
competition.
playoff game. Yeah, because he can't
Right.
win a playoff game. I think it was a down year for the NFL, and everybody knows why. I'm just going to say it is because my beloved Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. is not playing.
And
that is
A-Rod.
I mean, whatever. But we all know it's about Tom Brady. I could just watch him read the telephone book if I needed to, and now he's not throwing. I mean, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, no, I definitely get it because I didn't even watch the league this year. So we're getting old, Jen. That's what it is. It's as bad as it is.
I don't know about you. I'm getting younger.
Well, I'm getting old. It just seems like I don't know. Who do you got? Who's gonna win? The Niners or the Chiefs?
I think okay, guys. Who has some more Knowles on their team? I think the Chiefs do, right?
Chiefs have Derek Nottie, even though he's injured, he is a starter on their team. So yeah, I'm going Chiefs all day. I put about
but they butchered the war chant, so it's just hard for me.
That is true. They could do a lot better with that.
I don't know. I think the 49ers fans, they kind of need this, right? They do. I don't know.
Even if it is a kind of bastardized version, it would be kind of cool to hear the war chant on the Super Bowl. So I guess there's that. But yeah, I spent I had $50 on one of these one of these hardcore bet apps or whatever. And I bet 5 different little $10 parlays all in the Chiefs' favor. So I'm all Chiefs, baby. Win me some money.
I don't know. I might just go for the underdog here. I might be going for the 49ers. I haven't fully decided yet. Probably the moment Brittany Mahomes' face comes on the screen, I'm going to go for the 49ers. I'll probably switch. Yeah, it'll be a quick thing as soon as that starts in, and I'm just like, I cannot with her. So I don't know. I guess brother Mahomes is not available for his shenanigans this time either. So thank the Lord for that.
You saw that where they kept him out of the club? Oh my gosh, that was.
I thought he was in jail.
Well, no, he was like they were at some, I don't know what they were doing, some kind of event for the Super Bowl, and his sisters or his Brittany Mahomes is right there, and he's like trying to get to the table, and the security guard's like, "No, sir, get." And he looks at her, and she's just like, "Whoop, sorry."
Yeah, she don't care.
So now everybody loves her because they hate him so much. It's like now that she's distanced herself from him and doing the Sports Illustrated thing, everybody loves her now.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. All I know is I do appreciate the Chiefs fans for the GoFundMe for their divorce. I do appreciate that. I really do. I think that's hilarious. Even though
your really favorite color is petty, so
it is. And so I know that's so toxic, but that's hilarious to me. And it is. And let me tell you something. Chiefs fans are gonna turn on Taylor Swift if they lose this game.
Right.
Remember does anybody remember what they did to poor Jessica Simpson with Tony Romo?
Oh my gosh. That was wow. Talk about a blast from the past.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this could be if the Chiefs lose this, could Taylor Swift lose popularity? I'm being serious here.
I don't approve of this joke, Brad Powers. I just want to let the people see what an asshole you are, because I don't approve of that. That's not a good joke. Pat Mahomes Sr. got a DUI because you would too if you had to deal with that family and Taylor. Oh man, yeah, that's a pretty good one. That is definitely a pretty good one. Talk about a blast from the past. Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson. He had a little thing with Carrie Underwood too, but she's kind of royalty with the country folks. But Tony Romo got the shaft. I will go die saying that. He should have got another year or two, and he might have got the Cowboys a Super Bowl. They could never keep the guy up. He was constantly getting hurt, playing over his head with a terrible offensive line, and they finally get the offensive line, bring in a freshman who doesn't get pressure, a rookie who doesn't get pressured all year when they could have, he should have got one more chance to stay healthy is what I'm saying. Whatever. They should have played him in the Super Bowl, used Dak to get there. I don't know. I'm a Romo fan. I feel like he's one of these, he's not Dan Marino. Like, don't somebody quote me say that, but that type of thing to where he was a good enough player. His franchise didn't do right by him. Romo could have won one for somebody, in my opinion. What do I know?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying I'm not really all that worried about Taylor Swift. I'm just saying, football fans are rabid, man. They're rabid and they remember things. And if you become even somewhat unlucky to them, you're done. You're done. Like they will just never. I can't even use a certain light switch in my house on game days. You have to turn the light on from the one side of the room. You can't use the one light switch on the opposite side because the one time you did that, that's when we lost. What was that to Wake Forest in 2022? Something like that was the last time we actually lost a football game. I'm just saying I don't count the Georgia game, guys. I'm not doing that.
2012. That FSU Clemson game, that classic where James Wilder Jr. runs over everybody. We're down in the first half, come back and score 30 straight points.
The fake clipping?
No. 2012. We won the game. It was 52-30 something against Clemson. It was a big coming out party.
That was 2013.
No, 2013 is the year we won the national title. We beat them 52-17 or something. 52-14.
We won 50 something in 2012 too. I thought that was a closer game.
No, it was 50 something to 38 line or something like that.
Oh,
that is a close game. It's just a high score for both teams. Yeah, so 2012 they were kicking our ass first half. We come out, score 30 straight points, win 52-39 or some shit like that. But yeah, the second half I went into a room and locked myself into a tiny room watching a 13-inch screen, and we scored 6 touchdowns in a row or whatever it was. So yeah, I had a party at my house, literally 100 people there, and I locked myself in a room and watched it. So yeah, I'm with the stereo. What do you call it? Not stereo. What do you call it? Superstitious. I'm with the superstitions.
I'm very superstitious. Very, very.
Did you see who's been poking his nose around Tallahassee here as of late? I don't know if he's moved back to Tallahassee or if he was just there for Mike Martin's service or whatever, but I'm telling you as an analyst now, that would be pretty nice.
I agree.
Have him on your recruiting staff.
I don't see that happening unless he's just bored, unless he's just bored.
Well, that's my thing.
That would be humiliating almost for him, but maybe not.
I've seen it too many times.
If he could be on the staff and do this and do that, and then they go win a championship.
Well, so here's what it is.
The biggest ego boost you could possibly give yourself, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and with Jimbo Fisher, he's got $100 million in the bank. He's got his national title. He wouldn't be coming he wouldn't be coming because he needs a job. That's the best job he can get. It's just a job he can get to bide his time, be part of the game, be reading all the data, be studying up on this and that, learning from Mike Norvell what they've got going on there for his next opportunity, whatever it may be. It would be a situation like that. Like you've seen people, they call it the Saban Rehabilitation Clinic. I'm not calling Mike Norvell Nick Saban or anything. It's just a program that, is on the upward trajectory. Jimbo Fisher knows the ins and out of it. I mean, he's got a high IQ, photographic memory, all that stuff for
Okay,
football,
but
and it wouldn't be his program. He would just be an analyst. Who knows if he would do it? I don't know, but it would be.
yeah, I don't.
It would be
Obviously, I don't
something.
see that happening because if you think about like the booster relationship with Jimbo, if you think about the administration relationship with Jimbo, I don't know.
Well, they're gone.
Yeah, I know that. I do.
That's what I'm saying.
I get that. I'm just saying. Well,
it would be a long shot. You're right. I don't think it's going to happen either.
Yeah, no,
but I'm just saying it would be. It's possible. It would be something.
It could be fun. It could be a nice little recruiting little jolt. Give Jimbo something to do.
He would have to come with his hands out. It would have to be. He would have to humble himself, and it just be a cool thing. And it probably not in a million years. But I'm just saying, there's enough things there that you could see it. Like he's awful chummy with all these boosters in this picture.
Look, I could see Coach Norvell thinking it's a great idea. I could see him thinking. I 100% could. But I could see Jimbo Fisher being like,
I just feel like he hated Wilcox and that whole everything was here. And I feel like Norvell and Alford hate him just as much. I feel like if you got those two in a room, it'd be like, holy shit. Yeah. When I first got there, it was like that. We had to do this. We had to do that. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he holds some kind of sentimentality there. But for him to be in those pictures, even though it's just a picture for memorial, it's just, I don't know. It just gave me hope. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think again, like I said, can you imagine if Florida State went to the playoff next year? Let's just say they put Jimbo Fisher on the staff, they get to the playoff, they win a championship. I mean, there isn't a bigger ego boost for him. He could have any job he wanted at that point.
Help you put together that recruiting class.
Even just an analyst, Jimbo Fisher could make it to the NFL. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
All it takes is one person. When you're a coach, it just takes one person to believe you can do it again, and you'll change your ways. But a lot of these guys go be analysts for a couple of years, not because it's the best they can get. It's because if he takes a job as an offensive coordinator, Jimbo Fisher does, or a head coach, just right off the failure at Texas A&M, bam, all the pressure's right there. I got to win right now. But Jimbo Fisher could go be an analyst for a couple of years, relax, and rewrite his book. Come up with his other plan if he wants to make a run at the NFL or another run at college football. Maybe he'll go to Georgia. Maybe that'd be better idea for him. I'm just saying it would be pretty damn cool if it was Tallahassee.
I don't see that happening. I don't know that him and Kirby get along that well, but I'm just saying, I think Jimbo would love to go to the NFL. I don't think the NFL is going to give Jimbo a chance unless he does something like what we just talked about.
Well, the NFL is so different. Like, look at Willie Taggart. Like, we know the guy knows football. Like, he could probably go to the NFL and be a quarterback coach or something. I don't know. Okay. But like, as far as a head coach, hell no. No, he's not going to get no head coaching job or nothing like that. But he could pull a Willie Taggart and go, I have 1,000,000% more percent in Jimbo Fisher than Willie Taggart.
I can't. I really can't.
He probably single-handedly kept them out of the playoffs. It was probably his fault. He probably scheduled some meeting.
This feels like an episode of Punk. I feel like Ashton Kutcher's about to jump out here right now because the fact that Willie Taggart has a job in the NFL is wild to me. And I'm not always trying to bag on Willie Taggart because I was excited about him being our head coach too. I've never seen such incompetence, really, honestly, in my life.
He was just a fan, just a fan.
Okay, but how do you keep failing up?
Jim, what's his name? Harbaugh. It's all about who you know, baby. About who you know. But yeah, there's a coach somewhere. There's some coach sitting there on a couch that watched what he did at FSU and FAU and parlayed it into an NFL running backs coach job. That's like, God dang. But look at what's his name? Raheem Morris gets another shot. It's like there's a lot of black coaches out there that are waiting for their opportunity, and this guy gets another one when it was like abject failure in San Francisco.
The enemy's over here looking at Willie Taggart going, what the F?
Right, and Raheem Morris too.
Oh my God. I've never seen,
They said Bieniemy couldn't do it by himself. Well, he leaves and absolutely kills it by himself. So I don't know why that guy deserves a head coaching job if I ever seen anybody.
I've never seen anything like this. You've got to wonder, does he give the worst interview ever? there
My
has to
im-
be something.
my impression is he's just such the opposite of a player's coach. Just because he's had a couple players come out and talk shit about him, like who was it, Shady
Hmm.
McCoy, and a
Mm.
couple other people like
Yeah,
hinted
but
like
doesn't
he
he
was
talk shit
dumb or
about
something.
everybody?
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
I mean, I don't
I'm no
know.
NFL expert.
I've got to wonder. Maybe he's just not good at kissing ass, which makes me like him even more.
Yep.
I
That's
don't
part
know.
of it. You have to, man. You have to eat shit for an amount
Oh,
of years
yeah.
to make it in anything. Coaching, you started as a GA. I hate to bring everything back to organized
Isn't
crime, but
Fred
it's the same
Smith's
thing.
son like a coach? Isn't Fred Smith's son a coach who's terrible? Arthur, right? Arthur Smith?
Oh, that's Arthur Smith's son's name, Fred Smith. Yeah, I'm not sure, but that's
No,
hilarious.
Fred Smith, the founder of FedEx.
Yeah, I thought that was Arthur. I thought that was the older. I thought it was Arthur Blank. I get them all confused. I'm not an
No, I
expert.
think Arthur, the head coach at the Falcons, was one of Fred's sons. I could be absolutely wrong about this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that
But I
the owner owns it. I know that. I know that he has FedEx, but I'm not sure the name or exactly what the
well, the
nepotism
owner
is
of
there.
FedEx is Fred Smith, and he lives here in Memphis. I'm just saying.
Dope.
Yes. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. Look,
So the owner's son is the coach?
Arthur Smith was
Jesus
the coach
Christ.
of the Falcons.
That's crazy.
Yes. And, oh my goodness. If Bradley's still on here, maybe he can remember this. He went to Miami first. He was a quarterback. Cannon Smith was a quarterback at Miami and then got found with all these drugs or something in his car. And then, transferred, of course, to the University of Memphis because a certain somebody donated a lot of money to make sure he had that starting job.
Like I said, organized crime. Same thing.
It's amazing. You can just get to fail up. You just get to fail up.
Like Chad Swafford.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep on failing. You don't deliver the ACC network? That's fine. We'll bump you up to vice president. Give you 3 more years to get it done, son. Great.
Wow, you failed better than anybody else has ever failed before. Here's $1 million. Have fun.
Alrighty. Well, what else do we got on the agenda here?
What was I gonna say? Oh, do you have any I guess we did the Super Bowl picks, I guess. Chad Kelly from Ole Miss. Oh yeah, I remember that. No, this was Cannon Smith. I'll have to look it up. It was Cannon Smith, and it was a bunch of ecstasy or something when he was the quarterback at the University of Miami.
Well, I'm taking it he never played.
Did Cannon ever play at Miami? Who knows? Miami's had so many damn quarterbacks. It's unbelievable.
Not very many good ones, but they have had a lot. Back in the 80s, they had some pretty good ones.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. Who was your favorite Miami quarterback? Was it Brad Kaya? Because for me, it was maybe Brad Kaya. Because the By Felicia signs were amazing for me. That was so epic, Or losing his teeth when they came and handed him his teeth. Remember
his molar?
Yeah.
Timmy Jernigan knocked his back molar out.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a soft spot for Ja'Cory Harris. I used to call him arm punt, and I really love that joke. So I really like Ja'Cory Harris.
Yes, I did enjoy all those wonderful
his release was like
picks.
I called it the arm punt. It was the weirdest thing. It was almost like he just, I don't know. It just somehow the ball flew out of that thing. It was like
okay. It was it was after 2013. It was the 2014 season. Was that the field goal that Miami missed that Florida State won the game? Was that 2014? Mark Richt was the coach.
We won 7 in a row from 2010 to 2017. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember
exactly
if that was
what
the
happened.
game where the missed field goal happened. If anybody in the chat can
2014 was such a shit show of stuff like that. I know the Florida game we had Jameis had 3 picks and Dalvin Cook won the game. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in the Miami game. I know Dalvin Cook went off. I know that much.
Oh yeah, I think that was it where he's like, no, maybe that wasn't it. Maybe that was the next. I don't know. Let me see. Miami 2014. I want to see if this is the game because I have a great story to tell you guys about my horrendous temper.
Uh-oh. What did you do?
Why I'm not allowed to watch football in public, usually. Or was it the extra? The extra point was missed. What year was that? Was it the extra point?
What's that?
That was 20. Was that okay? Somebody tell me what was the extra point that was missed
That was the
with
block at the
Miami?
Rock. That was like 2015, 2016.
2015. Okay, let me tell you, I broke a TV, guys. I broke a TV.
You thought they were about to tie it?
Hell yeah, I did. I was so mad when they gave us a touchdown. I kicked that TV, fell over and absolutely smashed. It was a brand new flat screen TV I had just gotten, and it was my daughter's. She wasn't
Oh
happy.
no.
Yeah.
How big was
I had
it?
gone,
Like a
I
big
think it
ass
was
TV?
about a 50 inch,
Jesus.
something like that. Yeah. I was so angry. I kicked it. It fell over. It broke. And I had to get on Amazon like that minute because I realized what an absolute jerk I was and had to buy a new one.
Yeah,
Hid
Mom,
it
you
in a
don't have much choice
closet.
on that one.
Hid it in the closet so she wouldn't see it because it
Did
got
you try to
delivered the next
replace
morning.
it before she saw it?
Oh, I did. And I
Oh my
successfully
goodness.
did it. I sure did. I
She
bought a new one.
she
Yep.
would have wanted a nicer one though. You probably got a deal on it. That's
I'm
funny.
not replacing something with a nicer one. Are you
Well,
kidding?
I'm just saying. You did say
I
it was brand
replaced it
new.
with the same one. It was yeah, it was like a month old. And when they missed the kick or whatever, the block at when
What
they
a
missed
roller
the kick,
coaster of emotions, man.
and I got the look from my other grown-up family that had seen my behavior was like, ma'am, you do not deserve to be celebrating right now. Like you are an absolute lunatic. And I looked at them and I was like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
the national title when Kermit Whitfield ran the kick return back.
Oh,
I had a plate with 2 chili dogs on it, and I was my buddy Tad, my sister were right next to me. We're all FSU fans, so we all jumped, and literally the damn chili dog stuck to the ceiling. Yeah, it was pretty funny. We knocked
who did
over the
it fall
Christmas
on?
tree, the whole thing.
Who did it fall
Nobody.
on?
We got out of the way. It was really funny seeing a big ass chili spot
Y'all were playing a game
the
of
ceiling.
lawn darts with a chili dog.
Pretty much. It was hilarious. That was a whole nother time back then in 2000. Well, 2014 technically.
Oh my God, I will never forget that.
When we had the big freeze.
My Twitter was going off at the beginning of that game when it was 20-3.
Oh yeah, was it Dan Wolken that said
Dan Wolken,
SEC schedules matter?
Schedule matters, yes.
Mhm.
And I had so many people on my Facebook, on my Twitter, they were just on my text, everything. And I was married at the time, and I'm kind of an asshole. I'm not allowed to like really watch games with people. I'm a terrible fan. I'm a terrible winner. I'm a terrible loser. I'm a worse winner. It's awful. And I live with nothing but SEC fans. So my phone is just blowing up and I am so angry. And I turned on the closer. Guys, I turned on the closer during the national championship game because I'm really bad luck during big games like that. Look, they came back. As soon as the Kermit Whitfield touchdown happened, I turned the game back on. I was like, sorry, closer. I know it's a 2-hour episode, but I've got other things to do. It was a Christmas episode. I'll never forget it. But
man, I was watching Breaking Bad back in those days,
yeah,
like 5 years late.
And so when that happens, and then what's his name scores and does the Heisman, which was still funny.
He thought, nope, that's still on Jameis's, on his mantle, along with the national championship.
The missed horse collar was the most egregious thing I've ever seen.
On
there
Rashad
was so
Green.
much going on in that. On Rashad Green. It was so weird just watching that game and just watching Auburn and watching how sad almost the announcers were that Florida State won. I will never forget it.
Always like that. It's like
it was almost like a funeral. But if you watch, it was the start of the ESPN 360 cast. It was like their first time doing it.
Yeah.
And if you remember, they had like Michael Smith, and then they had a coaches one going on. And the coaches one was so much more interesting to watch that year. I think they had a Dazio. They had the guy from, he was from Houston. Someone was on there. What's his name that does the recruiting for ESPN now? Tom Luganville, and who else was it? There was another one on there, UCLA coach. Who was it then? Is it Mora?
Probably.
I
Seems
can't remember.
about right.
Anyway, that was the most interesting one because do you know when that Kermit Whitfield touchdown return happened, they called it.
Yeah. Well, the guy came up lame. He pulled a hammy or something, and the lane opened
No,
up.
that
And they were
wasn't
looking
it.
at the
They
all
said
12.
when they looked at the way he caught it, where he caught it, and it was Kermit Whitfield, Tom Luganville says this dude's a jet. He's gone. They cannot catch him. Someone said this was in the plan. This is what they're doing. This is gonna be a kick six. And it was so much better than the other crap they put on TV. And then really that was kind of the last year that they did the coaches cast. They did it one time. To me, that was interesting. And another studio, they had weirdo celebrities in there with like Jamel Hill and like all this other stuff. It was just an odd year. It
Mhm.
was so much because they
Well,
wanted the
Xbox
attention.
One and PlayStation 4, people were just finally starting to like use their,
Yeah.
watch the games on their Xboxes or their
Yeah.
smart TVs.
It was such a weird year. And it was also, if you think about it, just for that year with Jameis, they invited like 8 other people to the Heisman, because they didn't want it to be Jameis. They didn't want Florida State to win. Nobody wanted Florida State to win. Florida State wasn't invited to the White House that year. It's never happened before. It's never happened again. If you want to say a team wasn't hated, please don't come at me with Florida State 2013. Like ever, 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 ever.
Well, then on and on. And then, when it's Dalvin's Cook turns to show up to get invited to the Heisman ceremony, we can only take 4. It's like, lose me a fucking break. But you had to have 8 when it was Jameis's turn.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's always something. But it is what it is.
And the fact that they didn't invite him to the White House that year, like, I can't even believe that people are not over. Like,
they
I
just
really
young
thought
money.
was-
People don't like young money. It's why we got to get out of the ACC. I hear people in the thing talking about, we're not getting out. We're not getting out. You better believe we're getting out. And if
How
the
are we not getting
FSU
out?
and if they push their luck, if they try to say, we're not going to pay Florida State, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, it could be sooner. Like this, like make no mistake, it is not when. It's not if, it's when. It's that ship has sailed.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been kind of down for the count because of COVID, but that Florida State filing to dismiss the lawsuit by the ACC seems to have legs, and every
It's
filing
clearly
seems
written
to
it.
favor Florida State. I don't know what anybody's thinking when they say that they're not going to get out. Why don't you think they're getting out? Do you think that relationship is repairable at this point?
So
Where
Mike Bartz with a $5 super chat says, "Hey Jen, I'm glad you're feeling better and welcome back." We appreciate you, Mike. Yeah,
I'm working at
it's done. And yeah, that thing you mentioned, as far as now the North Carolina part where they filed, yeah, it's literally in the grant of rights. There's a paragraph that says that they're literally not able to sue Florida State in any state but Florida. So like Jen said, yeah, there's legs there. That thing could
Like,
possibly get
I don't
thrown
understand
out.
what anybody thinks that Florida State's not getting out. I don't.
It's probably just a Miami fan or somebody in the chat.
Oh, well, you know that. I mean, Miami fans are just upset because they're not wanted, and they should be just used to that. They're not ever wanted. You're kind of the one with, you're the one that doesn't fit in the bucket seats, guys. I don't know what to tell you. And if you know what I'm referring to, then when you know, you know. You know what I mean? George is laughing. He knows what I mean.
Trying to see something here. Guys, don't forget the number is up there, 850-495-1906. If you had a question, it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Does anybody have any Super Bowl picks?
They've had some people have talked about their Super Bowl picks, I think. Let's see. Did you see Jameis Winston on the Sunday conversation? I'm sure you saw that.
I haven't watched it yet. I was like so sick. The only thing I was really watching was
that just came out today.
Oh,
a couple
no,
hours
I thought you
ago.
meant
Presley with
What was
Barstool, the guy who's always talking. He's like just a a goof bag. He gets people
No.
on. Yeah, Jameis went on there. They were a perfect
He
match. They're
also
so
went on
goofy.
the pardon the that
KFC,
one.
whatever, PFC,
Yeah. I
Barstool.
have
Yeah,
not watched that one yet. Honestly,
yeah.
I need to. Um, but not because it's just honestly I've been so sick that the only thing I've really been watching is mountain climbing documentaries because
Not even Vanderpump Rules. That's when you know Jen's
I'm up
sick.
to date. I'm up to date. You know.
Oh, you're waiting for the next one now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm too up to date on Vanderpump. I mean, I can rewatch some Vanderpump, don't get me wrong, but I kind of did the mountain climbing stuff, which is so interesting to me. And I've been rewatching Castle. That's what I've been doing.
Castle.
hmm
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Super
I
good.
just Jimbo in Tallahassee, man. I can't stop thinking about that.
I
That'd be so
mean,
fucking cool, man.
I think it would be cool. I don't know. Do you? I don't even think that's really even on a radar. Is it or is it? I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not. Let's look at I'll pull up Twitter timeline here, show you guys some highlights of my guy Solomon Thomas. If y'all don't have any questions or any calls, we'll probably wrap this thing up pretty quick. It is again Super Bowl Sunday. We really appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah.
Give us a call. You got any
Nobody
questions?
wants to talk to me and make fun of me for being sick. Okay, I see. I see.
They love you, Jen. Why would they make fun of you?
I'm just teasing. Just teasing.
And this is the Rickards Tallahassee defensive lineman Jalen Wiggins he's going up against here. If you know, this guy committed to Florida recently, and I'm not sure. I think FSU kind of made him a bit of priority after he committed to Florida. So we'll see what happens there if he ends up flipping or stays with the good guys. But as you can see, Thomas, I mean, he's a starting college guard. I mean, already. I freaking love it. Oh. Jimbo is rich. He doesn't need a job. Exactly. That's the whole reason it could work. That's the only reason it could work. If he needed a job, he would never take an analyst position or anything like that. But yeah, he's in town. He's got nothing to do but study tape. I'm just saying he could be a damn good analyst. And the way his mind works, if that's all he had to do was study football and look for tendencies and break apart defenses and find out what route's going to work on this or that. Yeah, it could work. And they're two football geniuses. They go about things two different ways, but I think it would be pretty cool. Being sick definitely isn't a joke. We were not laughing when Jim was sick. We were definitely funny. She is happy she is better.
Oh, I know. I was just teasing.
You were gone for a while, right?
I was gone for one show.
Okay. No. Like just now. Like you didn't think you were talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want you were muted and thought you were talking the whole time or something.
No, I had to refill some water because talking and with COVID, I just needed to go refill it. And I didn't want you guys to hear the water tap running and being like, what the hell is she doing?
Is she peeing in a bucket or what? Is that a cow pissing on a flat rock? If he can show Norvell where the lever is for another Jameis, that would be nice. Well, unfortunately, if Jimbo knew where that labor was, he'd still be at Texas A&M.
He'd still be a head coach somewhere, darling. Because Jimbo, I mean, I still think Jimbo should be sending Jameis half his retirement.
A Dong Bay says that I don't see Florida keeping that 5-star quarterback recruit. It's hard. Long term, yeah. Because the coach is going to be gone. So he'll probably hit the portal. I agree. We'll see. I mean, unless they can get Urban Meyer to come back to UF, he's probably out of there. But
Like
I
what you
imagine
think?
Florida is right now, trying to figure out who their next coach is. Like, I just do not believe they see any future with Billy Napier. I just don't see how you could. He'd have to win 3 of those last 6 games, and it's not happening.
I think we're gonna see where Billy Napier goes on their first game. That's what I think.
Say it
And I
again.
know you and I both have picked Florida to beat Miami. If Miami beats the crap out of Florida, I think, woo,
It's looking worse and worse for Florida the farther we go forward. You know,
yeah,
it is looking worse and worse. But we'll see. Yeah, if they lose to Miami, whoever loses that game is in rough shape. But yeah, Miami's
yeah. I
schedule is a
mean,
lot more favorable than
yeah.
Florida's going forward.
But honestly, I think if Florida loses to Miami, I think that's going to be expected, and I don't think it's going to be as bad as say if Miami loses to Florida.
Yeah.
As far as a fan base reaction.
Yeah.
Even though I'm picking Florida to beat Miami, I sure am because I just cannot pick Miami to win anything.
Well, Miami
just
fans
won't
are
do
all
it.
right with losing. Florida fans, they are losing, but they don't like it. Like Miami, they're cool.
Yeah.
Like, you lose as many games as long as you give us a top 5 recruiting
Although
class, we're A-okay.
I think if Miami goes and loses to Florida on their first game of the year, and they start to get that bad press, because you know how Miami fans feel about press. I think losing to that sorry ass Florida team would give some extremely bad press where the media doesn't want to do that to Miami. They never do. They never want to. They'll make an excuse for it at first, especially if it's a close game. I'm sure it'll be the ref's fault. It'll be something like that. But if it's not a close game, say Florida comes and win, or Florida beats them at Florida by 10. How does that look?
Yeah. It's tough.
I want to hear about, I want to think what you, do you think Miami fans would say, all right, there's something wrong here? Or would they make excuses like they usually do? How would the media react?
They're going to hype up Florida. That's all they're going to do.
I don't think they will.
They're just going to hype up Florida, and then I've seen Miami lose to such shitty teams like FIU, Middle Tennessee. You go on, and they make excuses. I don't think them losing. I think they beat Florida the last time they played them. So I'm the opposite of you. I think the opposite, but it's going to suck for either one, whichever one loses. But I think Florida has to win it. If Florida loses, they're FECK'd.
That's the only big game Florida has the possibility of winning. Let me put it that way.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. That's why I'm saying, they gotta win it.
But I
also Alabama
think
had
that if Florida
not Alabama.
loses, I'm saying I think the fan pressure on a loss is more on Miami than it is on Florida. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. Napier's on the hot seat. Florida fans are almost completely done with them. They're buying into Mario Cristobal. They really think he's the future. They think he's building. I don't.
Oh no, that's
I'm just
what
saying,
I'm saying
they do.
That's exactly what I'm saying. They really believe in Mario, and if they go in there and lose to this sorry ass Florida team, do you not think that would take a little bit of shine off that rose?
Oh yeah, just nowhere near what was going to happen to Florida if they lose.
And see, I think Florida
we can disagree. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I just think Florida might expect to lose. I think Florida might be playing with house money with that game. That's why I'm picking them.
Yeah, I just think it's the opposite. I think the exact opposite. But we will see what happens.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. It's going to be a train wreck regardless, and it's going to be a lot of fun. As far as a game that doesn't include FSU, I can't think of a much better than that one than seeing Miami and UF. I think Cristobal should be on the hot seat, but he isn't.
Yes, that's why I'm calling it the hot seat bowl.
Napier is firmly on that hot seat. His seat is on fire. And then he comes out and makes comments about basically, thanks, we're trying to do this and that, but we're 18 months behind the rest of the nation and this and that and yada yada. It just seems like it's the warts are already showing up. I think Billy already knows what the deal is. There's hope in Miami. Even if they lose a game, I feel like they still have the ACC. It's still an out of conference game. But with Miami, if they lose to Florida, they don't have anything to look for. So we'll see. We will see. I wish there was some way for them to both lose. If they could tie 0-0 like that Virginia Tech, who was it Virginia Tech was playing? I can't remember. They played somebody and it was 0-0. They went to overtime. If that could
Oh my
happen,
God. Wake
that would be
Forest? Was
the
that Wake
best case
Forest?
scenario. I would not doubt it one bit.
I'm pretty sure that was Wake.
I believe
I
it.
could be wrong.
It was hilarious. And I mean, what's his name was happy as hell too. He was
Frank
like
Beamer.
pumped. Beamer was pumped. I mean, he's about 90 years old, but still.
Didn't he catch himself on fire too? I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I
What?
shouldn't have said that. Nothing. Don't listen to me.
Jeez.
Don't listen to me. I didn't say anything. I said
Be with
nothing.
the starving pygmies down in New Guinea and all that good stuff.
I
Yeah.
have COVID. I have COVID. It's a fever dream. I'm not making fun of anybody.
Yeah, that was a tough look there for a while. Yeah, tough. Anyways, guys.
hang on. I'm typing something to Bobby. I want to see if he agrees with me.
Guys, genuine question, Bobby says. Was Mike on the hot seat after the first 2 seasons?
No.
I respectfully disagree with you on that Mario take. Well, you're saying guys, but we literally just gave opposite takes on Mario. Yeah. So I'm not sure which one you disagree with. But Mike was not on the hot seat nationally.
Not one time.
When you ask the pundits and things like that, yeah, they had him on the verge of the hot seat. But as far as the program, no, we saw where it was going to go. We were like 100% in, like we believed in it. And that's what I was saying. That's how Miami fans feel about that Mario. I don't see it. Just like people didn't see it with Norvell. I don't see it. We had our guy. We had Jordan Travis coming back for a 3rd year. Yeah. We knew he was going to be that dude. We had question marks at wide receiver, but every facet of the program was going in the right direction. We ended on a hot streak, all those good things. I see the opposite at Miami. I see dysfunction. I see the quarterback transferring out. I see you having to fire your whole staff after year 1. It's those are apples and oranges, buddy. I mean, it's not even close. The only thing that Mario has done is recruit well out of high school. His portal classes are garbage. Like this high school class, as good as it was, like it was all done for PR. I mean, he's got 14 blue chips and 17 3-stars. Like I don't see it, but that's why opinions are opinions. Everybody's got one, and just like buttholes.
Look, okay, so here's what I'm going to say. No, I don't think Mike was ever on the hot seat. I think you can ask if there were some fans who still thought Willie Taggart shouldn't have been fired, that were saying Mike should be fired. That's a whole nother scenario. No, he was never on the hot seat with the administration. He was never on the hot seat with the board of trustees, with the administration. That was never a thing. Were there some fans that were online? Sure, but if you go back and look at those fans' history, they also thought Willie Taggart was doing a great job. I don't. So you can go down that road if you want to. Mike's job was never in jeopardy at this time. I can tell you that without.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, Bobby says, listen, I get it. Mario and Miami have to win in order to change that perception. And that's kind of what me and Jim were disagreeing on. Who needs this win more? To me, it's Florida. To her, it's Miami. That's it. But no, we both know it's going to be a shit show on both sides, and both sides need to win. Just she thinks, we just differ on which one is the worst nightmare if they lose.
Look, I just think with Miami trying to crawl back or claim to be back, you can't go in and then lose your first game of the year to a 4 or 5 win team. You just can't do that. And I think it's a worse look if Miami loses to Florida than it is if Florida loses to Miami. That's just my thoughts. I still think that's what's going to happen.
We shall see. I cannot wait.
That game's going to be an 8. I guarantee you that's going to be an 8:00 kickoff in Gainesville. First game of the year. Absolutely nutsos crowd. There'll be hardly any Miami fans there. It'll be Florida fans. It'll be Cam Ward's first game. I think this could be a recipe for disaster, or it could be a recipe for a start for a winning season for Miami. So I guess we'll see how it goes. It depends on how.
I'm sorry, go
ahead. Who's saying Miami is back, Bobby? Y'all's fans and the media say it every year.
Yeah, not you, Bobby. We know it's not you, but it is a lot of Miami fans saying, "Oh, Florida State did all this just to go 9 wins next year, and Miami's going to do this and do that and everything." So, yeah, I mean, it's just about every year. But
it is every year.
it's trolls, People like Bobby with sense. No, they're not saying they're back. They're saying exactly what he says.
Look,
he's got to win to prove it. And we love Bobby, and we're not talking about you about that. But
Wilmer, not even after the Jacksonville State loss. Mike's
there's a
job was
reason. There's a reason your name is Realistic Canes fan on Twitter, because most are not realistic, but there are some good ones out there.
Okay, if somebody has said that his job was in jeopardy after the Jacksonville State loss, they're not being honest with you, and they don't really know anything. They're lying to you. I'm just letting you know that his job was never in jeopardy. George, am I wrong?
No, it wasn't. But and that's the thing. Like, we came out, had that hugely emotional game. You struggle, you're a young team, you're learning how to win, but that's it. We learned. We started off 0-4, but then we went on a run. Like, we had momentum. We were getting better and better. To me, when I look at what happened to Miami, it's the opposite. You start out, bam, you beat Texas A&M, and then you fall apart
and then you
as a team.
And worse.
The whole thing as the year goes on, and that doesn't bode for getting better. I don't know. I just don't see it. I've seen it before with other coaches.
There hasn't been a season-long improvement. It's been a season-long, getting worse.
It's like last year was year 1 again. Is basically what I'm saying. It's like year 2 all over for you guys again. Even though it's year 3 of the program, you completely reshuffled your staff, and Mario has no identity. So it's not like with Mike Norvell, where when we lost Kenny Dillingham, we brought in a new OC, but he was already on staff. Mike's still calling plays. It's like you had to completely change last year. Your defensive coordinator left.
You fired,
all that
again.
Yeah. Well, defensive coordinator left, and you fired the offensive staff. So we'll see. It's year 2 to me, even though it's year 3.
Bobby, who's going to be your defensive backs coach? Do we know? Do we have that yet?
It's not going to be Patrick Surtain Sr., I can tell you that.
I mean, we know that, but
as much as our guy Miami, Hurricane TTY wants you guys to believe it, no, Patrick Surtain ain't going nowhere. Maybe if there was a coordinator spot open and they offered him a ton of money, he would obviously have to consider that, being a guy from down closer towards that way than Tallahassee. But no, there's not a lateral move. It ain't happening. It just makes no sense. His star is on the rise. He could be the defensive coordinator at Florida State in a couple of years, or anywhere in the country if he keeps doing what he's doing. Because is there a defensive back coach that had a better year than him, and it was his first year? Like, that's no. You signed the best defensive back class in the nation after having a top 5 secondary in the nation, going 13-1. Like, yeah.
Well, and it's also, I mean, if you even just go back and listen to, I think when we had Coach Zach Smith on, and we talked about it with Pat Surtain with him, he had an episode of his show, and he was talking about Pat Surtain, that he wanted Urban Meyer to hire him. Like, he's such a well-known commodity, and he's so good. I still don't understand how Mike got him the first, and that he was the first one to try it. Other huge coaches were thinking about it, and Mike was the first one to do it. And Miami's defensive backs have been kind of a mess for a while, which is wild to me because South Florida, but with Florida, we know that the defensive back position, along with the wide receivers, they're a little bit divish. That's a hard road to toe, isn't it?
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say category 5. He says, we were picked to win 8 or 9 games this year, just like you guys. And yeah, that's what we started this conversation with. The over-under is around 9.5 games for you guys now. But that's the thing. What was it last year? What was it the year before? And what was it the year before that? And y'all hit the under squarely, correct? So that's just the thing. Bettors, that's what sets some lines. In Miami, they bet on their people. The line's pretty high. Y'all have the pieces. When you look at the talent, I'm not here to disparage. Like, y'all have the talent.
Last year,
but it's just I don't see it. Call me a hater, whatever you want. But Mario Cristobal's record is 74-73, and all I've ever seen him do is underachieve with people. Like Justin Herbert, the revelation he was in the first year of the NFL. That's because how he looked in college. Even didn't he have 1 year with Helfrich, or not Helfrich? 1 year with Lanning too. I'm not sure. I'm not on the history of it, but yeah.
No, he was Helfrich, he was Taggart, and then Cristobal. That kid got bounced by 3
Yeah.
different coaches. But look, here's where I was going to go with this, and I understand that we're kind of winding down here. But Miami guys, y'all want to say I hate Miami all the time. They want, and I do. I really do. I hate Miami. But by the way, because of how much I believe in Florida football, the players from Florida, when you guys play teams like Tennessee, Ohio State, Texas A&M. I know you beat them this year, but last year you didn't. I still pick you guys because I still believe in the talent. And y'all still screw me. I had to sit there with a bunch of Tennessee fans with Kellen Winslow as your star player. I will never forget this game. I'm sitting here having to cheer for you losers, and y'all lose to Tennessee.
Well, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Y'all lose every big game. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it. And every time I pick you against Tennessee, against A&M, I know you won last year, but the year before I still picked you. Ohio State, you lose. I'm done. I'm over it. Y'all need to show me something or just stop. That's all I have to say.
Category 5 says, I'll take the under, give me 8 wins. And I think that's a fair prediction. And that's kind of why I think it's more important for Florida to win that game, because I do think Miami can get an 8 wins and Mario's going to be just fine. I feel like the relationship, Bobby was talking about it. They brought in guys. Whether I don't agree with them, but I feel like Miami's admin and kind of the thing around it could survive it better. I feel like if Napier needs that win to get on a run, he needs to be like 6-0 when he gets to that hell's half acre at the end of the year to even have a chance to have a job.
Yeah.
So that's it.
But that's not going to happen. And
Probably not.
I'm even starting to lose faith in my Florida pick on that game. Not really. I'm still there. Miami getting Cam Ward was a little different for me, but I'm
getting worried, man. I'm getting worried. The UF thing feels like it's held together with freaking Elmer's glue. I feel like they're going to have a bunch more people bolt.
Doesn't that seem interesting? It seems
I
interesting
love
to
it.
me. I don't know.
I love it. I'm just saying May 1st to May 15th, we could see some more cats bolt from UF after that spring. Well, who knows what that spring is going to be like. So the portal's not done.
Yeah, I think I'm still going to go with my Florida pick for right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to change it.
I may not change it. I may not change it because as long as Mario's the coach, I don't believe in him winning big games. I just don't. So,
nope.
And this is a big game, no matter what anybody wants to say. It's a huge game. It's a huge game. A win or loss can make or break your season. Seriously. If Miami loses this game, I think their season's done.
I hear you. I disagree, but what are we going to do? All right. Yep. What's next? Guys, we are at 1 hour and 27 minutes and 30 seconds. We've got another 2.5 minutes for you, unless you got a call or a question. What else? What do we have before we get out here? Anything on your mind? Anything we need to tell the people?
No, I did see Josh Pate's video about, DJU and him just wondering how it's going to go. I'm worried about when is his video going to come out about Cam Ward and all his turnovers, because that was what he promoted on DJU's video was his turnovers, which we know which quarterback has the most turnovers, and of course going to that staff that does nothing to fix quarterbacks' turnovers. And also, where is the video that Josh Pate was going to do that was going to be an hour long discussing Florida State being left out of the playoff? Where is that video? Has anybody seen it? Because I haven't.
I distinctly remember him never doing it and just bitching at us for complaining the whole time, even though he said he would be outraged. He never gave us that, and it pissed us off, and that makes us, he's in the same thing with Kirk, to where we're the delusional, we're the lunatic fringe.
Yeah. He promised a snub video that was going to be an hour long. He said an hour. He said that. I didn't
what did he used some kind of excuse. I think he used Jordan Travis injury as an excuse or something. I don't know what his shit was.
He even said it before when he was talking about how he's going to do an hour. Jordan Travis's injury should not be the excuse.
Yeah.
And he would do an hour-long video if they were left out. And I'm still waiting on that hour-long video, Josh. Pate.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
It's
We
a
get
good
that a
thing we
lot
didn't
from these
hold our
people.
breath because we'd be dead or in the door now.
Yeah. When he shows up to Florida State like he did for Miami in the middle of the summer, or takes a trip to one of the games, then I'll believe it. There's just bias there. It is what it is. We all have it. We have bias against Miami, so that's fine. He's a Miami fan. It's cool.
He's a Mario
It
Cristobal
always,
fan. I don't know that he's a Miami fan, but that man is in some sort of relationship with Mario Cristobal that I don't really want to know about. I don't
he
need to
loves
know
him.
about. It's not my business. Love is love. Okay. Love is love. I'm really cool with it. You can be, into whatever you're into, but that seems a little weird, but that's cool. I'm
Just
more
a
of an
little bit.
alpha. If you're a beta, I guess that's cool. I don't know any alphas that wear bras, so I'm gonna have to call them a beta. So if you're more of a beta, cool for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always found that weird, but I don't want to go to shaming people or anything like that. But yeah,
Wait, what? Who's shaming? I was talking about Cristobal wearing a bra.
right.
Oh, that's shaming now.
Like body shaming.
Oh, is it?
A little bit.
Mm.
I'm all for it about Mario. Like I said, I'm just not going to harp on it. I don't want to make anybody out there feel bad, but yeah, it's pretty fucking hilarious.
Who's gonna feel bad? I have to wear a bra every day.
Anybody? Never mind, Jim. I'm not going to call the person out that's feeling bad right now about it. Like, what do you want me to do? Make them feel bad? Like, what? You, Billy Joe, I know you're fat and you have to wear those binders. But now he's feeling bad anyways. I'm sorry, Billy. It'll be all right. No, somebody I grew up with lost a bunch of weight and they had to do that. And it's like, if he's watching, his face is red and he's crying.
Hey,
so whatever. Maybe he's not.
If you've lost a bunch of weight, good for you.
Whoop, whoop. It happens.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Hell, I've lost 100 pounds before, guys. Like, what are you talking about?
100 pounds. Wow.
Well, maybe not 100. I mean, I've had kids.
If I lost 100 pounds, I'd disappear. Oh, well, yeah, that counts. That doesn't count.
Wow. Is that really what you just said? If I lost 100 pounds, I'd disappear?
That's what I said.
Problems is absolutely ridiculous.
I only weigh 160. If I lost 100,
it's so
I'd be a sack of feed. I'd be a sack of feed.
Who has the bigger cup size? I would guess me.
Well, maybe we can get Mario on the show and we can compare. We all have something to look forward to.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to win that one, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm going to win that one. Yeah, so I guess we can go watch the Super Bowl now. I don't know.
Sounds like a plan. Guys, thank you guys for so much. No, we're fine. That's fun. It's fine. I don't think he's watching. I don't even think he's a Florida State fan. I just pictured him in my head, and he had low self-esteem.
Can you just stop? Nobody was thinking about this poor person.
Guys,
you've just done it.
Well, I keep trying to change the subject, and you keep coming back to it.
I know.
Making fun. So then I have to say something. If I just sit here and I don't say nothing, I got to make a joke.
I haven't gotten to talk to anybody in like 5 days, except for children, and I've been sick. So, I'm just gonna say shit.
Fatal Jedi says it's the natural ice.
What natural? Ugh, who does that?
We were talking about how nasty that shit was the other day. Hey, I'm not laying it on, man. Jeez. All right. Anyways, guys, we really appreciate you. It was a blast. We will see you guys on Tuesday.
Y'all go get George way too upset.
We have got a really fun week coming up. Hope to have some really cool guests and some really cool stuff to talk about as we come up and Tribe 22 continues to grow. Rumors out there of, recruiting going on, all kinds of fun stuff. I've got the Chiefs. I need Christian McCaffrey to score some touchdowns and the Chiefs to win by 5 or 6 points so I can hit my parlays. So y'all pull for that to happen. And I will see you guys. When are we going to see these guys next? It's gonna be Tuesday at 7 Eastern. We will see you, and we will leave y'all with some Trub Life.
Hey man, FSU versus everybody. Let's go. First off, fuck Bama in the Roll Tide.
every city that's close by. Bitch ass hillbilly redneck fans. Auburn almost caught y'all slacking like dress pants. Michigan trash, they ain't got a damn chance. Only Wolverine I respect is X-Man. Sheen ass coach got exposed, still in plays. Damn right I'm bitter, y'all sweeter than lemonade. Texas ain't shit to rave about. The lone